The Edmonton Oilers lose 5-2 to the Arizona Coyotes in the final game at Mullet Arena and the final game in the state of Arizona, at least for now, unless there's expansion. The Arizona Coyotes are moving to Salt Lake City for the start of the 2024-25 season. A very emotional night in Arizona at Mullet Arena. Guys like Shane Doan were there. They had some other alumni. The fans did a final whiteout, and honestly, there are things that are more important than the on-ice result. Even though as an Oilers fan, I want to see my team win, but from the human side of things, this is much more important to the Coyotes fans, the players, coaches, the employees at Mullet Arena, and with the team. There's a lot of people that are going to be losing their jobs, people that lose their health benefits, people that there's a lot of uncertainty with where they're going to go in life now. I think sometimes we all forget the human side of hockey. So a big congrats to the Coyotes. I'm honestly happy that they were able to get a big win for their fans in their final game. Of course, as an Oilers fan, still going to do the post-game recap. The Oilers had a couple players that were given opportunities that I didn't think they really took by the horn. So let's kind of jump into it. So heading into the game, Nurse and Ceci were out, Broberg and Stecher were in, and Evander Kane remained out on maintenance. Holloway stays in with McLeod and Perry. Calvin Pickard got the start. Final home game in Arizona, Coyotes history. Team will be relocating to Salt Lake City for 24-25. Home crowd with the final whiteout, as mentioned. The fans on their feet early as Liam O'Brien scores just 2:18 into the game to make it 1-0 Arizona. Pickard then makes a couple of saves. Then the Oilers started to press for the last 13 minutes of the period. Sam Carrick then scores to even the game at 1 with just about 7 minutes left in the first. Oilers controlling the neutral zone well. Not many looks as the period winds down. Clayton Keller then scores right at the buzzer, but it did happen after the buzzer had hit 0 seconds, so no goal to end the first. End of one, the score was 1-1. The shots were 10-6 Edmonton, and the expected goals were 0.6 to 0.5, a fairly low event period. And just like the other meetings between Edmonton and Arizona, low event is kind of the name of the game. The Coyotes, they don't give up a whole lot, they don't produce a whole lot, but they do make you pay on mistakes, and they did make Edmonton pay on pretty much every mistake the Oilers made tonight. Heading into the second period now with the game all notched up at 1. McLeod had a shot off the rush that was stopped. Fogle was then chopped down. He drew a power play, but the power play didn't generate anything. They finished 0 for 2 tonight. Brown then set up Holloway, who had a good look, just could not get a shot away on his own. And then Holloway set up Henrique in the top of the circle or at top of the crease, but he was also stopped by Ingram in close. Arizona then started to pressure, but Pickard was up to the task. Hyman was stopped on a nice one-timer. Pickard with a good save on Keller as play, I felt at this point in the second, play had slowed down. There wasn't much physicality going on the ice. And as you'll see on the little graphic on the screen to the left there, the final hits in the game were 19-18 for Arizona. So, the Oilers, they're just trying to stay healthy and ready for the playoffs. And for the Coyotes, they were just focusing on managing the puck and making sure that they were making the right plays to try and capitalize and score for their fans. And then Michelli scores on the breakaway to make it 2-1 Edmonton. Carrick then takes a big hit. Draisaitl was stopped in close off a nice pass from McDavid. And at the end of the second, 2-1 Coyotes. The shots were 18-15 in favor of Edmonton, and the expected goals at this point in the game were 1.2 to 1.0 in favor of the Oilers. A low event period. Again, as usual, the Yotes capitalize on a mistake to take a lead to the third period. Now, heading into the third period, McDavid and Draisaitl got loaded up on the same line. Henrique was bumped down with Nugent Fogle, and then Henrique ended up with a couple shifts on the fourth line towards the end of the period. I don't know if that's something that, Knobloch's looking at for, when the playoffs start, but that is something to kind of keep an eye on as we move closer to the playoffs and Knobloch starts to get his lineup ready to go. Fogle then took a holding penalty, power play for the Coyotes, and then the crowd started chanting Salt Lake sucks, which I thought was kind of funny. I really do feel for the crowd and the fans, season ticket holders, the fans that watch at home. I do feel for that market. When I was, growing up, obviously an Oilers fan in the mid 90s, there was rumors that the Oilers could move. The Canadian dollar was very low. Canadian team valuations were in the tank. Obviously the Oilers got saved by the Edmonton Investor Group, but I was too young to understand what any of that even meant. Winnipeg ended up relocating. Quebec City ended up relocating out of Canada. So I don't really know for sure what these fans are feeling, but I do sympathize very, very much. Oilers make the kill on the penalty kill. Coyotes with just one shot on their power play. And then Lawson Crouse makes it 3-1 as he was able to get in alone. And that was the second goal against where Broberg was out there, where they kind of got in behind him. For someone that hasn't played much in the NHL this year, Broberg was in the AHL, played really good down there. But in terms of his play, it's hard to judge with a one-game sample size, but I expected a little bit more from Philip Broberg. To be honest, I know he had an assist, but I thought his game, there was much to be desired overall. Ekholm had a blast that was stopped, and then Pickard with a good save on O'Brien. And then Warren Foegele snipes his 20th goal of the season. That is the first time Warren Foegele has hit 20 goals in one season. So good for Warren Foegele. That cut the lead to 1 to make it 3-2. Oilers started to press a little bit. Bouchard had a blast that was stopped. Ekholm then takes an interference penalty, but Schmaltz was kind of the one that reached in on Ekholm and initiated contact. Yes, Ekholm put his body in front of Schmaltz. Schmaltz reached around, drew the call. I didn't really have an issue with it. Maybe could have called both, holding on Schmaltz, interference on Ekholm, but either way, Pickard robbed Dylan Guenther on a one-timer, but Guenther gets another opportunity and snipes one to make it 4-2 Arizona. Oilers pull the goalie with 5:12 remaining, but Sean Durzi puts it into the empty net from 175 feet out, 5-2 Coyotes, and that would be the final tonight. End of the game, 5-2 Coyotes. Shots were 29-24 in favor of Edmonton, although it did just update. 30-24 were the final shots, and the expected goals were dead even, 2.4 to 2.4 for both sides. Now, my 3 stars tonight, normally I don't do 3 stars when the Oilers lose. However, my 3rd star, Connor Ingram. My 2nd star, Dylan Guenther. 1st star, the Arizona Coyotes and their fans. Of course, they get the number 1 star tonight. They came out, they supported this team. Obviously, there's been a lot of jokes about the viability of a team in Arizona. I think what it's come down to, towards the end, just not having a proper arena to play in, an ownership group that just can't quite figure out how to capitalize on the market in Arizona. If the NHL expands, I wouldn't be surprised if they go back there, but we will have to see. For now, this iteration of the Coyotes, this chapter closes. They will be in Salt Lake City next year, and the Edmonton Oilers, next up for them is against Colorado tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, obviously, heading into the playoffs, I've mentioned a couple things in previous videos. The bracket challenge. So I've started up the bracket challenge league. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. You can join the league. Obviously, we don't know the final matchups in the Western Conference yet. Once we know, the bracket challenge opens up. You're going to be able to pick every bracket. Let's see, who ends up closest, who predicts the closest gets the most points. I will be giving out prizes at the end of the playoffs for the league that I am creating. It will be on the NHL's website. I will link it all. I'll explain more in detail in the future as well. Once I know who Edmonton is playing and once we know all the matchups, I will be doing a playoff kind of preview video. I will be previewing every single series. I will, of course, go very in depth on an Oilers preview. That will be a separate video compared to the other playoff matchups. There's a lot of content coming up for the playoffs. I'm very excited to share. But at the end of today, 5-2 Coyotes. Sounds like tomorrow, Sam Gagner, Adam Ernie, and I forget who else is going to jump into the lineup for Edmonton. I think McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent are going to come out. I don't know if Vander Kane is going to play. So tomorrow there's going to be a huge lineup shuffle. We're going to get a lot of guys from Bakersfield back in the lineup. And I'm kind of excited to see Sam Gagner in the lineup again. I've missed him. He's someone that I was very adamant that shouldn't have been down in the AHL to begin with. But of course, I'm not the general manager. I am not the coach. But I am very biased because he's my favorite player. So, Oilers fans, what did you think of the game tonight? Arizona fans, what did you think about the game? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Obviously, this isn't a very high energy video. This is more of a somber tone in terms of my, approach to making it. I want to be sympathetic. I don't want to sound, I don't know what the wording would be. I just don't want to sound like I'm happy that this is happening. I'm happy that Salt Lake City's getting a team. I have been someone that has, made fun of the Coyotes as a franchise, and I have been vocal about them moving. But, once it actually happens, I do feel bad. So, Coyotes fans, I hope you're going to be okay. You will be okay. Everyone that lost their jobs, I hope they get on their feet soon. I'm glad that you all showed up in the whiteout tonight. It was nice to see one final whiteout in Arizona. Before I head out, if you like this video, make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you really liked it. Share with your friends and family. And, of course, before you head to bed tonight, tell someone that you love them. I will see you tomorrow for the pre-game report for the Oilers and Avalanche. Take care, Oil Country. Take care, Arizona fans, and we'll see you soon. See you later.